Hello, this is BioEnchanted and welcome back to Get Even. This is where the game really starts picking up. The last level was really good, but this is where the game's main aspect starts really building. But first of all, we have a few things to check out. First of all, a couple of new things have spawned here that weren't there before, so let's get these, shall we? Yeah, we really screwed ADS over here. ADS is basically ruined. I went through the zoom out text thing here because it cuts off slightly right at the bottom on the actual image. I don't know why it does that. It doesn't allow you to scroll down to it either. It just kind of leaves it cut off for you never to see. But remember last time we were told to look at this picture of static. Of zeros and ones. Not static, but, you know, binary. So let's see where this leads to, shall we? Well, this is interesting.
Hey? Where am I now? Is this another memory?
Not quite. Consider this a filing cabinet, Mr. Black, of all the evidence you gather. We'll make sense of it eventually. Any information filed by the Pandora is accessible for you in this room. Each board represents a different memory. Give it a try. Look at a couple of boards and see what happens.
I quite like the lore in this game is all kind of arranged like a conspiracy theory.
Any connections or links your mind may have made, even unconsciously, are recreated visually by the Pandora. I'm rather proud of this feature. You can study the investigation further, or return to the asylum when you're ready. Just use the photo in the middle of the room.
We have all the evidence for the job to Robert Ramsey, and we also have been given a code. And we can re-enter that level at any points, well, at certain points in the game. We're not going to do that yet, because what these codes do results in a few things that are a little bit spoilery, so I'm going to hold off on it until certain points in the game where I'll go through a few of them at a time. But as you can see, there are a few new things that show up on the board that are board only, like that analysis of what the bomb actually was, or this article talking about the actual situation in the newspaper later on. Or at least in a magazine, anyway. One thing I quite like is a little cartoon of the policeman as well. It's a very kind of tabloid thing to have. And of course we see this big map that we didn't otherwise see. Most of the stuff here, of course, is stuff we've seen before. This is, again, something new, so I think I'd show these off at least, because a lot of the levels have these kind of new fragments that we can put down. Of course, the man from the Lithurst Asylum is what we're currently in the middle of, so we've only got half the evidence there from the first stretch of the asylum up to that last level we did. So let's explore more of the asylum, shall we? And see what else we can find there.
Very good, Mr. Black. Your
synaptic transitions are becoming much easier.
The room you just visited will help you stay away from conjecture and concentrate only on the facts.
Facts? All I know is that my name is Black, and apparently I stole this corner gun.
Precisely.
And an expert job it was too.
ADS all but went bankrupt after you disappeared with the prototype.
But I'm sure we will learn more.
As you proceed.
Like how to get out of here.
You are here through choice,
Mr. Black. And if you show the same clarity of thought as you did
breaking into ADS, then that might not be for too long.
Apparently the door's unlocked. So let's see where else we can go, shall we? In the asylum. We get a bunch of really hard to read memoirs for the last level, a couple of them at least. But yeah, the main problem I have with this game is these memoirs are so tiny. You can barely read them in the video, and I can even barely read them on the massive TV I was playing it on. I say massive, it's reasonable. Humble brags, I guess, I don't know what. That's an odd noise.
Red! Hey! Why's everyone loose?
The patients must have their exercise, Mr. Black. Now move along.
Yep, now all the cells are open, and the patients are being released. Let's hope none of them are the violent kind of crazy.
Match found. Patient name, Albert Hall. Suffers from severe panic disorder.
What is this?
I quite like this music playing over the intercom. It's tuneful but creepy. But yeah, this next area we may recognise. We've seen it from the other side. That's ominous. Apparently some kind of cult is springing up.
Fuck. Well, maybe I should have let him go.
Yep. The guy who asked us to let him go at the beginning of the game has now hung himself. However, if we had released him, things would have gone a lot worse. And apparently they've started to worship something in here. I'm kind of curious what's going on with this master. I guess we'll find out as we proceed and explore. Quite like the atmosphere in these sections. Sounds like an interesting fellow. These cells don't really have much of interest. But I like the designs of them. I like all the unique graffiti and everything like that. There's a lot of work on that kind of thing. I also quite like that for some reason the guy took the thing off the wall, whoever broke out this cell, and just put it on that mattress for some reason. It's an odd thing to do, but there we go. And also another note, apparently pertaining to whatever this thing they're all worshipping appears to be.
A guest! A guest! I almost didn't see you there, sneaking around like a cat. Yes, little black cat. Oh, safety. How do you take it? 1 over 2? 1 over 2.
I like him, he's cute. A cliche, but a well-played one.
A teacher reported missing in 2011.
John Keating's a good boy and I like him.
Damn
Let's
it.
advance.
No way through.
Or not.
Jesus Christ. The code. For the door. I need the code.
Yes. Secret codes. Solve my riddle. You get the secrets. It is a party after all. It is a party. There must be prizes. I love prizes. Twinkle, twinkle, little cat. How I wonder where you're at. Search for answers high and low. Turn off the lights and let it glow. Little cat lost in the dark. Can you find my secret marks?
Looks like how happy he is. And these animations have really helped sell that as well. He's just such a happy man in his little delusions. Of course, his secret marks involve the UV light, and he has highlighted one of the numbers in this room. 1. In this room, 4 plus 4 equals... Of course, the answer there is 8. Here he's circled a certain number of numbers. If we add them all up, they make 4. And finally, in here we have a little tic-tac-toe grid, again marked with numbers along the winning line. 5. So the code must be, in order of the cells, 1, 8, 4, 5. That's a neat puzzle, I quite like that one. It establishes the Mad Hatter's character, the little John Keating's character, let's call him his actual name.
Cat, did you find it? Did you find your... what are you looking for? I'm afraid I'm past remembering. We're all past remembering. Would you like some tea? I think tea, don't you?
Little ones like that where he just calms down rather quickly after a maniacal burst of laughter. It's just kind of adorable. He's a cute character, and I'm fine with him using kind of a cliche. Let's find out what the rules are for this building, shall we? I mean, I don't think anyone's really going to be coming to visit, but, you know, it's always good to know. Let's get back to the map, and...
Fuck. What now?
Don't take this music away! Leave it be! Just leave it be! The party! He's on his way! He's on his way!
What happens if we do take his music away? Because he's red on the map, so that means he must be hostile. I mean, so was John Keating, but he couldn't get anywhere near us, so he was harmless. But this guy, I'm not going to take chances.
The rhythm, my music! What will they do? The party!
You surprise me, Mr. Black.
Temperance?
Humility? Perhaps there is hope for you yet.
I'm not the one keeping these poor bastards locked up.
Could have shot him, but we didn't. So he's alive. Not happy, but we spared him, and that's nice. And it looks like he was armed with a crowbar. Kinda glad we did that. Shooting would have been unnecessary. I mean, gun versus crowbar is hardly a fair fight. But I'm at least glad we disabled him in some way. That could have been nasty. We'll worry about that later. This room's kind of neat, though.
What the hell is all this stuff?
I wonder who this puppet master is as it keeps being mentioned and blocked out. Guess we'll find out as the game progresses. If it's even relevant. I quite like the little toy things, they're really cute, especially that the rabbit specifically represents John Keating. It's a cute little way of tying everything together there. I'm curious what this toy therapy would entail, but something to keep an eye out for. And this is easily missed. Not the rabbit itself, but scanning it.
DNA found. Female. 18 to 22 years of age.
That DNA keeps cropping up. What would it be doing here? Nothing of use here, just some ammo. And...
I didn't know you were a thief. A thief? Why would you do that? Thief! Why take something that isn't yours? Why sabotage? Why steal?
This is a particular favourite narrative device of mine in this game. So let's let the story tell itself, shall we?
Hey honey, it's me. Pick up if you're there. Okay, well bad news, I'm afraid. The caterers have cancelled on us, so they were double booked for the Saturday, so we're going to have to find someone else. Who knew getting married would be so much work? Anyway, see you later. Love you.
I just wanted to say that I understand if you don't want to adopt. I'm at the studio this afternoon. Call me when you're back, and I'll come straight home. We can talk then. I love you. Just a small reminder from your loving wife. Don't you dare forget our appointment at the clinic today. 2 p.m. sharp. See you then, Mr. Scatterbrain. My darling husband, I know this won't be the life we imagined anymore, but I'll be free to focus on my art, and you, well, you'll change the world like you always dreamed you would. And no matter what happens, we will always have each other. All my love, now and always, Lenore. Hey, I tried your office but couldn't get through. Call me if you get this. I've got news, and you may want to brace yourself. Love you loads. Honey, are you okay? Talk to me.
But are you absolutely sure?
I did the test 3 times.
The doctors, they said...
I guess we proved them wrong.
But that can't be right. It can't be. That means...
It means we're not just a couple anymore.
It means... we're a family.
Why show me this? Is this how you justify everything?
I like that couple, and I like watching their story unfold as the game progresses. So of course this won't be the last we're seeing of them.
What just happened? What was that?
Ah, you're back with us. Good.
Those memories, they felt different. What was that place?
No need to bother yourself with that, Mr. Black.
Just a quirk of the technology.
So they were my memories. What's going on?
That
It's none of your concern, Mr. Black. It is irrelevant to your treatment. Now,
Let's proceed.
Proceed. Right.
Okay, let's just move on, pretend that didn't happen, shall we? Interesting but irrelevant to the proceedings at hand.
Let me give you an example. How old are you? 25? Right. Let's imagine tonight you're walking home after work. You see a horse in the middle of the street and you're scared. You start uncontrollably panicking. Your heart is pounding, your hands get sweaty. You don't understand what's happening to you. When you're an adult, for Christ's sake, you shouldn't be scared of a horse. Now, you've no way of knowing what the root of this phobia is, but my therapy will make everything clear for you in an hour, maybe less. Perhaps when you were 2 or 3 years old, your brother snuck into your room one night, wearing a horse mask on his head. Perhaps he just stood there staring, watching, breathing, waiting. You woke up and you were terrified. I call it TRT, Toy Regression Therapy. Give patients toys or mementos from their childhood, and the psychoanalytic magic works miracles.
I can understand that. methodology. It's a weird one, but I can see the logic behind it. I like the way everything syncs up in these sections like this. But we had that patient wandering around, so let's try and follow him, shall we, to make sure he doesn't do anything untoward. I think that guy's pretty safe back there, let's ignore him. He's having fun. This mannequin seems to want us to check over there, but first... Oh. So let's see what's actually up. Once I've checked this, of course.
He always seemed real to me, even before I got here. The puppet master, the one in control. Because I sure as hell wasn't in control. I felt like shit for as long as I can remember. Everyone was mean to me in school, I was constantly bullied. But I assumed it would stop once I was an adult. Because I believed adults would be too busy to waste time on hurting the people around them. Well, I was wrong. So I found comfort in pills and drinking. But there was always this presence, like an enormous hand hovering over me. It wasn't my decision to go there and start shooting those people. I'm surprised it's the only thing missing from those CCTV recordings. The black strings coming out of my hands and feet. And the shadow looming over those poor bastards when I was finally made to pull the trigger.
Okay, let's just check this closet now real quick.
He's here!
Okay, well at least the closet's open. And that guy's changed his tune slightly. So, the puppet master isn't that psychiatrist, and he's not red. That's been confirmed. I like the way these aspects of the music all build on each other, and yeah, that's a really funny jump scare. I really like that jump scare. Because it's just a prisoner messing with you. Just a mental patient having a bit of fun. No real danger at all, he just wanted to dick with you, and succeeded. That one seems a bit extreme. Let's forget about that, shall we? You may notice a cut around here. That's because I died to an upcoming thing and had to redo this small section of the game. So let's backtrack to a few things we missed, shall we? By a few, I mean a thing. Making sure I've got everything in here, which I seem to do. This is what we missed. These dancing mannequins. And further exposition on the puppet master. So now we've got everything tied up, let's move on, shall we? There's the cut.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did this new treatment help you to discover your inner self?
Inner self? I've no such thing. Please. I just wanted to serve my country.
Don't change the subject. I'll ask again. On a scale of 1 to 10...
You made them cut my fucking arms off! My fucking...
We did it to save your life. That landmine...
I will end you, motherfucker! I will crush your fucking throat!
How? You have no arms. But you seem to be much less concerned about your past mistakes now, so let's call that a 9, shall we?
Benway is a really strange man. Unfortunately, of course, he's not the only person who's been playing on amputating. And according to this, appears as though it was done right here.
DNA found. One matching profile. Patient 912, Tom Elliott.
Pity poor Tom, for his legs are missing and he's mad.
Closing Lithurst. I mean, it's a sad day for psychiatry. And for people with mental health issues all over the world. I only helped my patients get better. Nothing more. And there's one thing I just don't understand. Why do the media still criticize my methods? How dare they? What about my results? And not one idiot journalist ever asked how many of my patients were cured. Not one. I know why. It's because my patients got better. All of them. Even those who died. Especially those who died.
I kind of like Benway because he's such a weird idiot in psychiatry, but then again, who hasn't been at about the point where this asylum was apparently open? Here we have to be kind of careful because this is where I died. This guy. I was facing a different direction when he burst out the thing.
Are you enjoying this, Mr. Black?
And of course he snuck up on me and hit me. Well, snuck up, I mean charged at me and I wasn't able to react to him in time. Because I was too busy looking for notes. But let's move on, shall we? Now that he's been swiftly dealt with.
Where none belong, out in the light, see right is wrong and left is right, and out of sight where we belong. No left is right, and right is wrong. It's a game, don't you see? A party game. They want you to let them out, but you mustn't. You mustn't let them out.
Thanks for the tip. Let's see what's in here, shall we? Because I can't go anywhere else. Maestro Berry of the Wheelchair Tower. May need to keep an eye out for him. Sounds dangerous. So he mentioned left is right and right is wrong. Only press the left switch. That's the puzzle here. Because as you can see, there are two prisoners in those cells. If you press any of the other buttons, they will be released, and we'll have to deal with them. Apparently Redmond is very territorial. Apparently he was willing to accept a toll at first.
What the fuck?
This is easy to miss. You've seen his name dropped a few times. And this is even easier to miss. This is a cheeky one right behind the wheelchair tower. Another one talking about the fall of the ADS. And of course, there's a scan point here. So let's scan the man on the wheelchair tower. If I can get the right angle, it's kind of tricky sometimes.
Match found. Redmond Macy, kleptomaniac. Known aliases, Maestro Berry.
Apparently he stole all the wheelchairs. And died a happy man. And of course being silly on purpose there. I do quite like the visual of the wheelchair tower though, especially the way it almost kind of mirrors the stack of mannequins dancing that we saw in the previous cell from earlier. both kind of cool visuals, and I quite like the way they're placed. This room seems like it should be more meaningful than it is. Just a cage in a big empty room. There's nothing else to it, really, just an observation thing. As you can tell, these parts of the game tend to be some of the longest, because it's mostly exploration and looking for notes and things like that. But it appears as though we've reached our current destination. So let's see what we can find in here, shall we?
What do you know?
The question, Mr. Black, is what do you know? Let's see if you have any memory of this place. Focus on the photo when you're ready.
We'll do that in a minute. First of all, let's get all the evidence, shall we? Questionings of a man called Jasper Prado, who apparently died. Prado, rather, mispronounced. There's also mentions of Jared Porter. This level appears to revolve around a murder, so this will be interesting.
Listen, I think someone's been murdered here in the warehouse. You should send someone. I'm half a mile down the road from the Pike Hill turning off Park Street. I was out on a run, and I stopped here for a minute. I'm looking at him right now. He's lying face down. No, he's definitely dead. There's a lot of blood. Yeah, it's Jacob. Jacob Singer. Look, can you please just send someone? Thanks.
Just a few more notes to get now. Detective Bart Fair. And his CV, I guess. At least a small summary of his accomplishments. Here's everyone's assignments. Apparently, Fair was working with the Chadwick mentioned in the former note. And there's the man himself, or Detective Hector Chadwick. And, of course, his bio as well. So let's find out what they found out, shall we? Let's join them in their investigation next time of our homicide. I'll see you then. Bye.
So you do remember this place. Interesting.
Please, just tell me why this is important.
An unidentified
man died at a nearby abandoned
warehouse not long before you tried to save the girl. He was shot at point-blank
range.
And we're going back to that warehouse?
That's correct, yes. The police wrote the whole thing off as a drug deal gone wrong.
But that's not what you believe.
I believe everything in life is connected, Mr. Black. The only question is how. Let's find out,
shall we?
Let's find out next time. Bye.